G'day on a beautiful morning here in Amsterdam as I tell you what the F1 drivers drove to the Belgian Grand Prix last weekend. Let's kick it off with Alfa Romeo driver Valtteri Bottas. What did he drive to the track? An Alfa Romeo Tonale. This is a premium small SUV hybrid, does about 46 miles to the gallon, although a little slow off the mark at 8.8 seconds from 0 to 100 k's an hour. Interestingly, Valtteri's got a new range of bucket hats. He wore one on Saturday and took a lovely photo here. Then we discussed bucket hats because I was wearing one of George's. And on race day, his girlfriend Tiffany Cromwell tried to get onto the grid. Now, she had the right pass, but she had open-toed shoes on and they knocked her back. She had no idea you need closed-toed shoes. I ended up taking some photos of something else and then I caught her again coming back into the grid with shoes on, and as she walked past me she said, they're actually Valtteri's. His teammate Zhou Guanyu was also driving a Tonale. He wore green pants in on the first day, the same pants he wore into the track at Monaco going back to May earlier this year. I'm not sure if Zhou's looking for a VPN, but if you are, you should have a look at Surfshark. Surfshark's an app and a browser extension that allows you to position your device anywhere in the world. If you're like me and travel a lot, you'll probably want access to certain websites, apps and social media sites that some countries won't allow you access to. When I'm overseas, I can position my phone or my laptop in Australia and access those sites without any drama. My brother-in-law wanted some Ralph Lauren gear but could only find it in the US store. So by logging on with Surfshark in the US, he was able to order it, get it sent to a third-party shipper, and eventually he got it in Australia. And right now you can get 83% off if you click in the link below. Plus, you'll get 3 months free and a money-back guarantee. Thank you, Surfshark. Race winner Max Verstappen drove a Red Bull on track, but off the track, he was driving a Honda Civic Type R, the exact same car he's driven for so many races in Europe this year. And I'll tell you, he'll probably end up driving it for the next 2 races in Zandvoort and in Monza. Sergio Perez, yes, also in a Honda Civic Type R. Sergio's interesting, you know, I watched him on Saturday walk through the paddock. He just puts his head down and moves. And if you want an autograph, much like Lewis Hamilton or Kimi Räikkönen, make sure you walk with him in the paddock. Alpine's Esteban Ocon was driving an Espace Inicial, a people mover. He's done that a few times this year. He was staying at Hotel de la Source, which is at the top end of the track at Turn 1. I know that because I was staying there as well, and it was quicker for me to walk back and edit my pictures from Turn 1 than it was to go back to the media centre. I was dining at that hotel on Sunday night after the race, and Esteban was with Otmar, and the people I was dining with decided they would pay for Esteban and Otmar's dinner. They asked the staff member not to say who it was, but I think Esteban worked it out and he came over to our table afterwards and thanked the girls for their generous gesture. He's a lovely fella. And so's Otmar. Fernando Alonso, did he drive this Renault Twizy to the track? No, he did not, but it was parked outside and I thought it was quite cute. He was indeed in a Renault Espace. Although inside the paddock, he was riding this e-scooter. Now, it was only a 35-metre trip from the swipe gates to the hospitality suite, but there were so many people wanting an autograph or a selfie that he had no choice. And if you're a Fernando fan, why don't you check out my KimElman.com website, go to the shop and see if we've got any Fernando Alonso hand-signed and hand-numbered prints. Next on my list is Lewis Hamilton. He was in an EQC 400. He's driven that car a few times, definitely in Spain and Italy earlier this year. And the arrival of Lewis is always highly choreographed. This time they had to move some fencing back in order for Lewis's car to get up right next to the swipe gates, and then his security people cleared everyone away to a safe distance, which, I've got to tell you, for us that's great because we get a clean shot of the man, and in this case with his physio Angela Cullen. And the new Angela Cullen video is coming up in a couple of weeks on my YouTube channel, so make sure you're subscribed. Do it now, hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Number 63, George Russell, was driving a GLE 63. And like Zhou, on one day he was wearing some green pants, although I can't tell you what the brand was. If you know, comment below please. The 5th team on my list is Haas. And Mick Schumacher was driving, well, he wasn't driving, he was riding a motorcycle. Now, I have not seen this motorcycle before. It's customised for Mick, as you can see. It has his number 47 on it, and it is a Yamaha YZF R1. And how about this graphic on the fuel tank? Kevin Magnussen, number 20 for Haas. Well, he was driving a BMW X5. He's done that a few times this year, likes that car. Only had 2 trainers with him, Jesper and Nikolai. and he was one of a number of drivers to stay at the Hotel de la Source because of its proximity to the track. Now at Spa, the car park for the drivers is on an upper level and it's way away from the main swipe gate, so it's very tricky for us to work out who's driving what. Let's go to McLaren now, and I'll start with Daniel Ricciardo, also staying at Hotel de la Source. He was driving a Volvo XC90 black in colour. Now, I believe this is one of Jeremy Clarkson from Top Gear, well, ex-Top Gear, now Grand Tour, one of his favourite cars to drive. Of course, it was an interesting weekend for Daniel. He had to face the media after announcing he would not be returning to McLaren in 2023. But it wasn't all sad. In fact, I've managed to catch quite a fun moment out the back of the garage where this young fan snared him, and she was very keen to show him a tattoo she had on her upper thigh, which has Daniel's number in his font, along with Fabio Quartararo's number. And Daniel was quite funny, saying, if you got a shot of that with me, please don't use it. I didn't get a shot and wouldn't use it, but Netflix was there, so I imagine they've got some vision. It'll be interesting to see whether that pops up in Drive to Survive next year. Lando Norris was also driving the exact same car, a Volvo XC90. Had a funny series of shots with Lando jumping over the swipe gate. Lando often forgets his pass, and although I can see a pass in his hand here, I'm just not sure that was his pass, hence climbing over. Because the driver's car park is so far away from the main swipe gates, it's very difficult to work out who exactly was driving which car. But I can tell you that both the Williams drivers were staying at Hotel de la Source, and there were two cars with their name on. One was an Audi here, and one was a Merc. So we'll toss up as to who was driving what. But interestingly, Nicholas Latifi's girlfriend had some friends there, and the group of them decided that they'd come back to the hotel a lot earlier than Nicholas because he had meetings. So instead of walking the 8 minutes, they decided to take a transport car. Ended up taking them 40 minutes to go about 1 kilometre and a bit because of the traffic. Next up, the Ferrari drivers, and Charles Leclerc was driving a Roma, as was Carlos Sainz. Now, these drivers have driven these cars for most of the year. Charles 9 times and Carlos 8. Why only 8 for Carlos? Well, one race that Charles drove a Roma, he drove a Portofino. That was Barcelona. Aston Martin are next. Which driver should we do first? Seb? Okay. Bike. Always rides a bike. Now, this is a Jay Laverack bike. He's ridden it a number of times this year. The team actually takes these bicycles from track to track, certainly for the European races, and I would imagine to the overseas races as well. And Mr. Consistent Lance Stroll, yes, an Aston Martin DBX. In fact, there's only 2 times this year he has not driven a DBX to the track. Do you know which races they would be? Hang around till the end and I'll tell you, see if you get them right. In fact, we're not far from the end. I only have Alpha Tauri to go. Pierre Gasly driving the same car he's driven in most of the Euro tracks this year, the Honda Civic Type R. On the Thursday, I caught him going up to Eau Rouge. No, it's actually Raidillon, isn't it? To lay some flowers at the spot where his good friend Antoine Hubert died 3 years ago in 2019 in that horror crash. He spent a minute or so there reflecting, and the flowers were left there. Well, they were strapped actually to one of the uprights, but for the race weekend, those flowers remained as a tribute. And Yuki Tsunoda, yes, he was in the same Honda Civic Type R. Both of those drivers were staying a little bit of a hike away in Spa. Well, when I say a hike, it's probably 25 minutes on a good run and maybe 50 on a bad one. And for those of you who, I get a lot of these questions on race weekends, where are the drivers staying? I don't know. They don't tell me where they're staying. I can only tell you where some of them have stayed. But if you do want to catch them for an autograph or a selfie, the best place is to catch them at the entrance to the swipe gates. Now, unfortunately, that means you're probably going to have to stump up quite a bit of dollars for a ticket that gets you access to that area. But that's not the case with all races, it changes. Thanks for getting through to the end. On the answer to, by the way, to that question was Lance Stroll. The 2 tracks he did not drive a DBX were Baku and Monaco, because they stay so close to the track. If you've enjoyed this video, now is the time to like it, subscribe if you haven't done so, and join as a member for a whole host of free benefits. You'll find all of my digital images at prostarpics.com for editorial or personal use. For F1 merchandise, wall art, signed driver prints, head to kimillman.com for my best images live from the track. And all during the week, you know where to go, Instagram, and search at Kim Illman. Thanks for watching.
And stay passionate.
I'm recording my video, and this is Tom from Melbourne.
Good day.
Well, Tom, you're a lucky man, because I was going to give this shirt away, and you look like you might be able to fit this. This is one of my merch shirts.
It's brilliant.
This has got all the tracks on it from the 2022 year. And it's yours, mate. So
Thank you so much.
well done.
Really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Cheers.
There you go.
But I'm going to take the hanger back because
Yeah,
that's the
no,
hotel.
For sure, for sure.